There we go. All right, y'all. Hey, what's up, good people? I'm QC. Welcome to a brand new Talkin and Grubbin live stream. How's everybody doing on this Monday evening? Hope everybody's doing good out there. I'm doing good. Glad to be back here with y'all. And I appreciate all those who are watching this live stream, whether you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch, Greatly appreciated. Tonight, this will be part one of my 2021 NFL preview. And tonight, I'm breaking down the AFC. Break down all four divisions, which teams I think will win their divisions. Also, who will be the wild cards. And also, I'm definitely going to let y'all decide who do y'all think will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Tomorrow night, I'll be breaking down the NFC around the same time at 8 o'clock. So make sure you join me for that. Also, if you like to donate to the platform, you can donate via Super Chat or Super Sticker while I'm live here tonight if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can donate via Cash App or PayPal. There's the Cash App cash tag, $ Talkin and Grubbin. Also, here's the PayPal email address. That's talkinandgrubbin@gmail.com. Any donations you make to this platform, I greatly appreciate, and I'm very grateful to those who have donated past and present. Greatly appreciate your support. Also, you can buy official Talkin and Grubbin merch like this t-shirt I'm wearing right now at the Spring store. Let me show you the website. Okay, here it is. I'm selling t-shirts for men and women, coffee mugs, sweatshirts, hoodies, socks, long sleeve tees. There's a few more things. Long sleeve shirts, face masks, coffee mug, well, a couple more coffee mugs, glasses, women flowy tees, and I'm adding a few more things to the store that's going to be on there soon. So you can definitely go check that out right now. Also, I'm offering discounts at 50%, like 50% off. You just type in the promo code FRIEND. Also, I'm offering 25% off. Type in TNG21. I'm always offering free shipping. Type in Teespring for the free shipping. And I greatly appreciate those who have supported the store. Definitely shout out to all of those who have. Let me see who's in the chat. Got Bruce here. What's going on? You said you feel the Browns going to take the AFC this year. I'm good, Bruce. How you doing, man? Definitely feeling better. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I look different. I got a haircut. I shaved my beard. That's why I look different. Yeah, it was time to give the old beard a break. It was time. Finally, it was long overdue to get the haircut. Yep, I shaved my beard, Bruce. Think I needed a break from the old beard for a moment. Well, I'll get to that, but the AFC, I mean, they still got to go through teams like, the Chiefs, the Bills, and I'll throw the Ravens in there. I'm going to knock on wood for that. Yep, got a haircut. Oh, yeah, the Bills definitely going to be good again. Say you doing good, that's good. Well, thank you. Also, for everybody, for all my subscribers on YouTube, you can also become members now. You know, I've opened up the memberships for a monthly contribution. You can get access to exclusive content that won't be seen on YouTube. And also, you get access to videos that I put out before they go public. You know, they're reasonable prices. Also, there's major perks. Well, some great perks like monthly live streams with members. Also, you get a blooper reels. You can, you know, for a certain monthly contribution, you can do a Q&A with me. You can interview me. You know, you can interview me live. I answer all your questions, whether sports related or personal. Well, not too personal, of course. Also, there's a couple of tiers. You can either become a contributor where you can contribute ideas for the channel, or you can become a collaborator and create your own videos, and I'll post them on here. So definitely become a member right now if you haven't already. What's up, OG? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining me. Okay, got these 3 tacos here from Chipotle that I'm about to grub on. Because I am hungry. I'm hungry, good people. All right. Get this first one. A good chicken taco here. Well, definitely get it going again, Bruce, please. Please get it going again soon. I appreciate that. That you feel is the best available. Let me finish off this first taco. Man, it's unbelievable that we're already in the preseason of the NFL. Unbelievable. We're about a few weeks away from the regular season starting. And definitely make sure y'all join me September 9th for the season premiere of Dinner and Sunday Night Football. That's going to kick off the 2021 NFL season. The Bucks, they're going to begin their title defense as they raise the banner in Tampa Bay, and they take on the Cowboys. It'll be interesting to see how Dak Prescott recovers after he suffered that catastrophic injury last year. It's a good taco right there. Bruce, you said, I feel the Lakers make a big mistake when they sign Russ. He liked the ball in his hands too much for LeBron and AD. I mean, I'll reserve my judgment. Because somebody's going to have to give up their game in order for them to win a championship. Say you're going to reactivate your membership tonight. All right, thanks, Bruce. Said QC, I feel Dak going to be considered for MVP this year. So you definitely expected him to have a bounce back season, Bruce. Said I don't even like the Cowboys. Oh man, I got a cousin down in Memphis. That dude is a very diehard Cowboys fan. Bruce, you said QC he get the cheap assist and easy rebound, so his numbers look strong. Man, y'all gotta quit hating on Westbrook like that. Yeah, he's a ball hog, but to say that man ain't talented, don't work hard, no, that I can't roll with that one. My brother TC, what's up, man? Thanks for joining me. All right, good people. For those of you, whether you watching on YouTube or Facebook, make sure you hit the like button as you come on into the live stream. Also, hit the heart icons if you're watching on Twitch or Twitter. Definitely greatly appreciate that. Okay, I'm sharing on social media that I'm live right now. About to get into the AFC. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, I have a poll on who you think will win the AFC this year. It's between the Chiefs, Bills, Browns, and Ravens. I can only fit 4 teams in the poll. Bruce, you said QC, I could like the Cowboys, but I'm no fan of Jerry Jones. Yeah, I agree. A lot of people can't stand Jerry Jones. I don't know why you just won't sell the team and retire. Jerry Jones, dang on there, 90 years old. He about what? 80, what? Matter of fact, Jerry Jones is what? He's got to at least be 86. No, he's 78. He's dang on near 80. Bruce QC, I feel you 100 on Russ that he don't cheat the game. TC, who should we look out for in the NFL this year? Definitely gonna get to that in a little bit. QC, that man gets on my last nerves. Who, Jerry West or Russell Westbrook? Said Jerry Jones. I like Russ, but the Lakers making a mistake. Okay. All right. So let's get into this AFC. Yeah. Share my screen. And definitely about to start on my home base, which is the AFC North, which, you know, if you don't know, if a lot of y'all don't know by now, I'm a big Cleveland Browns fan. So let me start on my home team. All right, now the Browns, as you all know, they're coming off of an 11-5 season. They made the playoffs last year for the first time in 18 years. They ended up winning the playoff game on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was their first playoff win since 1994. Last time that happened, Bill Belichick was the head coach. Also, that was their first road playoff win since 1969. Wow. And then, ultimately, they unfortunately came up short against the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC divisional playoff game. You know, either Baker can lead a drive down the field to get them in, to score the touchdown, or the defense could have just gotten a stop on Chad Henne. 9 times out of 10, I think the Browns would have won that game. But I mean, the defense was just bad. I mean, Joe Woods was like Charlie Brown, you know, making Thanksgiving dinner with jelly beans, toast, and popcorn. But GM Andrew Berry, he's definitely addressed the defense in the offseason. He signed John Johnson III from the LA Rams, the safety, for 3 years and $33 million. Now, Johnson, he had other offers from teams such as the Titans and Cowboys, but he took less money because he felt the Browns were a contender. Also, they acquired the veteran edge defensive end, Tack McKinley from the Falcons for a year and $4 million. Also, they signed cornerback Troy Hill, also from the Rams, for 2 years, $9 million. They re-signed Rashard Hollywood Higgins for 1 year at $2 million. They signed veteran defensive tackle Malik Jackson, who won a Super Bowl with the Broncos. They signed veteran linebacker Anthony Walker from the Colts to a 1 year deal for $3 million. But the big acquisition was the Browns getting Jadeveon Clowney to line up with Myles Garrett at that other defensive end position on a 1 year deal. You know, the word around training camp is he's looking healthy. He's definitely been flying out there. He's starting to look like how he was in his days with the Houston Texans. So let's see if that can translate to regular season success. And can he stay on the field? Also, you got the coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski, entering his second year as the Browns head coach. You know, he along with Barry, they definitely, within over a year's time, have turned the culture of the Cleveland Browns around. And it's definitely shown, and it definitely paid dividends last year on the field. Bruce, you said, QC, did you like Ernest Miner? Yeah, I did. I definitely like Miner. You also said, I feel the Browns gonna beat Mahomes on week 1. From your fingers to God's eyes, Bruce. But definitely like the fact that also, excuse me, I almost forgot about the draft. Browns went the first 2 rounds, Browns went defense. They drafted cornerback Greg Newsome. Then in the second round, a lot of people felt the Browns got a steal when they drafted Jeremiah Wusu. Well, let me make sure I say his name right. Jeremiah Wusu Cormora. You know, we've been calling him JOK, and he's definitely looked good in camp, despite the fact he had missed 10 days of training camp due to being put on the COVID list. But he definitely balled out in the preseason game, in the first preseason game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was drafted out of Notre Dame. Some people even felt that the Browns got a steal there because they traded up for him in the second round. because most draft analysts projected JOK to be a first-round pick. But some people may have felt that, that he wasn't quick enough or, athletic enough to play linebacker. So he was just still there in the second round. The Browns took him. Now Newsome, who was drafted out of, making sure I got his college right, drafted out of Northwestern. Definitely have heard positive remarks about him in training camp so far, but he's had his growing pains, and that was shown in the first preseason game against the Jaguars, where he ended up getting beat on a long pass by Trevor Lawrence. But definitely got to give him credit for not giving up on the play, despite the fact he basically got dunked on. But you can live with that with rookie corners. Bruce, you said QC, I feel Baker going to be contending for MVP versus Dak and Allen of Buffalo. You never know. You never know. So, now, flip side to the Browns offense, Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, is going to be calling the plays once again, along with his offensive coordinator, Alex Van Pelt. Baker Mayfield definitely had an improving year last year. He definitely played great in the second half of the season, as he finished with a top 5 QBR rating. Matter of fact, no, second in QBR rating in the second half, behind the one and only, the MVP, Aaron Rodgers. Baker, he threw for over 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, and only 8 picks. Also, he was one of the least sacked quarterbacks in the NFL, after being one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL in 2019. Also, Odell Beckham Jr., OBJ, is coming back after he unfortunately suffered that torn ACL last year against the Cincinnati Bengals. And he's definitely looked a lot healthier. He's definitely looking quicker and faster. And also, people fail to realize that he and Baker were starting to develop that chemistry last year before he ended up getting hurt. Also, of course, you got his best friend, Jarvis Landry, coming back. You got the two-headed monster, the best running back duo in the NFL, and Nick Chubb, who just recently got a 3-year, $36 million contract extension, in Kareem Hunt, the Cleveland native, in the backfield. One of the best offensive lines in the NFL with, the veteran Joe Bitonio, Jack Conklin, another veteran. Also, second-year man Jedrick Wills, who I definitely think is going to definitely improve. Wyatt Teller. The Browns have one of the best, if not the best, offensive line in all of the NFL. Bruce, you said, QC, I feel OBJ going to do something special this year. It's definitely possible. You also said, I feel Baker the best QB leader Browns had for a long time. I agree with that. QC, I feel Green Bay going to trade Aaron soon, as they don't want to lose him as a free agent. Yeah, a lot of people definitely been speculating that they may trade him either before the season starts or maybe in the middle of the season. Bruce, you said, QC, I feel the Bears making a big mistake about Dalton starting QB for them. He a little old and no good anymore. I'll definitely get more into the Bears tomorrow night in my NFC preview, Bruce. But tonight we're focusing on the AFC. So Also, can't forget about the tight ends, David Njoku, Austin Hooper, who, signed with the Browns last year. Austin Hooper had a disappointing year. Njoku, at first, he started off slow, but he improved as the season went on. As a matter of fact, he definitely had a nice game against the Chiefs in that playoff game last year. A lot of people that gets lost in the sauce, but he definitely had a pretty nice game against the Chiefs. So definitely like all the defensive moves the Browns have made. Finally, we're getting some consistency and some cohesiveness instead of having a new regime year after year, like it's been for the past 20 plus years. Because some people throwing Baker under the bus for getting off to a slow start. He hasn't had the success like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen had in their first couple of years, but people fail to realize those two already went into organizations that had the coaching in place already. The system was already there. I mean, Baker had 4 head coaches in his first 3 years. No quarterback is going to survive that. I don't care if it's the starting quarterback, the second string, third string. Hell, even a 4th-string QB is not going to survive that and have success. Name me one quarterback that went through that many changes and had success. If you can do that, I mean, if you think there's one, then I have a bridge and a few empty lots to sell you. And I'll throw in a few abandoned houses to sweeten the deal. Bruce, you said QC. I said that about Dalton because you mentioned the Bengals. Kobe, you said Browns have a top 3 team on paper. Yeah, just got to go out and prove it, Kobe. Well, how you been, man? Thanks for joining me. But now that Baker definitely has his coach in Stefanski, I definitely see Baker having a better year. I think he can at least throw for 30 plus touchdowns this year. How many yards? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. All right. Now, let's break down the Baltimore Ravens, who are definitely going to be the Browns' biggest challenger in the AFC North. I mean, they won the AFC North 2 of the last 3 years in 2018 and 2019. You definitely got the MVP, Lamar Jackson, of course. They definitely got a great defense as always. Definitely got the great defense as always. With veterans like Derek Wolfe, Brandon Williams, Calais Campbell, the defensive end. Also, they're trying to see if linebacker Patrick Queen's going to step up in his second year. Marlon Humphrey's one of the best corners in the NFL. So they definitely got a defense, but offense has definitely been their Achilles heel. I mean, yes, Lamar Jackson last year rushed for over 2,000 yards. Props to him, but the Ravens organization realized they can't rely on that forever because, if they keep on, he's definitely a bad injury away from being another RG3. Not wishing bad on him or no ill will at all, but we all know a lot of running quarterbacks don't last. Now, people might say Michael Vick, but guess what? Michael Vick still knew how to throw as well. So in the offseason, Eric Costa, the Ravens GM, decided to give Lamar some receiver help, to relieve him of that burden. They signed Sammy Watkins. Who had played with the Chiefs, went to two Super Bowls and won one. So they decided to acquire him in the offseason. Now the only question is, can he stay healthy? Because we all know ever since he's been drafted, Sammy Watkins has definitely had issues staying healthy. Also, they added veteran offensive lineman Kevin Zeitler, signed him to a 3-year, $22 million deal. They also, of course, they're going to beef up their defense. They re-signed Derek Wolfe to a 3-year, $12 million deal. They also re-signed Tyus Bowser to 4 years, $22 million. They signed defensive lineman Justin Ellis to a 1-year deal. And also with the Ravens, they're definitely waiting to see. They definitely want to see if, Marquise Brown and Rashad Bateman, I hope I'm saying his name right. No, Bateman, can step up. Of course, Marquise Brown, this is his 3rd year. Oh, let me make sure I'm right. Yeah, he's going into his 3rd year. So they definitely want to see if he could definitely step up, become a complimentary receiver. Now, I heard Bateman was having a nice camp, but unfortunately, he's injured right now. So he's a little bit behind the 8 ball here. But yeah, they definitely gotta have to start. Lamar is definitely gonna have to start throwing the ball more, which the Ravens offensive coordinator Greg Roman has been focusing on during training camp, trying to improve Lamar's game as a passer. Because, like I said, you can't just rely on his legs all the time. Even though, that man is a beast with his legs, you don't want that to be just a straight up go-to, because, one bad injury could just have him be another RG3. I'm not wishing bad on Lamar at all. I'm just stating reality that running quarterbacks don't last long in the NFL. So we're definitely going to see how Lamar does as a passer this season. And can he transition successfully into one? Now, of course, the Ravens defense is always going to cause problems for any offense. They're brute. They love to be physical. They always bring the physicality. That's a nightmare for any quarterback, running back, wide receiver. They just love to play physical. Especially a dude like Calais Campbell. He is definitely physical, and he is a big dude too, man. I would not want that dude rushing at me. He is 6'8", 300 pounds. Man, I wouldn't want that cat rushing at me. Not at all. So the Ravens are definitely going to be a serious threat to the Browns. I definitely think it's going to be these two fighting for the division. And the most ironic thing is the Browns play the Ravens 2 weeks in a row. Well, 2 weeks in a row. They play the Ravens in Baltimore on Sunday Night Football, Thanksgiving weekend. Then the Browns have a bye. Then the Ravens travel to Cleveland to play the Browns, right after that bye week. So the Ravens are definitely going to be an interesting team. Now, next is the Pittsburgh Steelers. As we all know, last year they started off 11-0. They were very hot. They were clicking on all cylinders on both sides of the ball, especially defensively, but kind of went off the rails for them as they ended up losing Bud Dupree and Devin Bush for the season due to injuries. And they definitely had a woeful finish to the rest of the season, as they only won one out of their last 4 games. They ultimately ended up getting shellacked by the Browns in the AFC wild card round in Pittsburgh, right on their home field. As it went wrong from the first few seconds of the game, as the ball was hiked over Ben's head by Pouncey, and the Browns, recovered it for a touchdown. And that was all she wrote in that game. Pouncey has since retired. Also, they lost some key players. They lost Dupree to free agency. He signed a deal with the Titans. Also, they ended up cutting linebacker Vince Williams. They cut Steve Nelson. They re-signed Juju Smith-Schuster to a 1-year deal. They re-signed Cam Sutton for 2 years and $9 million, as well as wide receiver Ray McLeod to a 1-year deal. Let me look at something here right quick. Also, they drafted Najee Harris, the running back out of Alabama, in the 2nd round to improve the running game, because their running game was the worst in the NFL last year. So I'm definitely interested to see what he's going to do. Also, they signed veteran offensive lineman. Well, no, they re-signed offensive lineman B.J. Finney to a 1-year deal. They also added Chris Wormley, the defensive end, to a 2-year deal. And also, they just recently traded for ex-Brown Joe Schobert acquired ex-Brown Joe Schobert, the linebacker from the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they're definitely trying to shore up that defensive line with the losses they've had. And they're definitely going to be a great defense. Of course, the Steelers always have a great defense, but the question is how the offense will look under the new offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. As the Steelers fired their offensive coordinator from last season, trying to get his name, Randy Fitchner, as they moved on from him. They felt his offense was not original, not innovative, and it was just pedestrian. So they decided to replace him with Matt Canada. So it'll be interesting to see how the Steelers do in this new offense by Matt Canada. And that's the questions I have, as well as everyone else has, about the Steelers. Definitely don't have questions about the Steelers defense. That defense is pretty much intact. Also, they're working on on an extension for veteran corner Joe Hayden, who's definitely done wonders for them. But definitely got to see how the Steelers are going to do offensively under Canada. And that's definitely my questions about, and that's my main question. How are they going to do under Canada? All right, last but not least for the AFC North is the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, last year was Joe Burrow's rookie year. He definitely was having a pretty good rookie year, but unfortunately, his season ended due to injury. Now, I definitely thought that the Bengals would definitely focus on getting an offensive line around them, but they really didn't do much to address the offensive line because last year Burrow was running for his life and literally getting mauled, in the pocket. And he's definitely going to need a strong offensive line to go up against, players such as Myles Garrett, Calais Campbell, Cam Hayward. Definitely gonna need an offensive line to protect him from those types of defensive players. But they didn't really do much in the offseason to address the offensive line, which I don't understand. Of course, they acquired Trey Hendrickson from the Saints on a 4-year, $60 million deal. Also, they got, cornerback Wusu on a 3-year, $21 million deal. They also acquired former Steelers corner Mike Hitton for 4 years, $24 million. Former Brown Larry Ogunjobi on a 1-year, $6 million deal. They did get a right tackle in Riley Ratliff on a 1-year deal. Also, Eli Apple, the former Giants and Saints corner, on a 1-year deal. And safety Ricardo Allen on a 1-year deal. So pretty much they focused on defense and not offensive line in free agency, which I don't understand. Definitely should have went harder to get Burrow an offensive line. Y'all excuse me for a moment. All right, I'm back, good people. But the Bengals definitely should have focused on an offensive line for Joe Burrow. What's up, News Cycle? How you doing? Got a member on here. Shout out to News Cycle, one of the members on here. How you been? It's going good for me. How you doing? Excuse me. So, looks like Joe Burrow might be running for his life again in his second season. Now, I'll admit the Bengals are going to be improved defensively, but how much time Burrow will have to hold the ball and to make a play, we'll definitely wait and see. All right, so here's how I see the AFC North shaking up. Excuse me. It's going to be the Browns. They're going to win the division. Ravens in a by a close margin. They're going to be behind the Browns by a close margin. Then the Steelers, then the Bengals. So that's how I see the AFC North shaking out. Say you talking about the AFC North right now. Okay, well, you're going to be with joy. This might be the year for your Browns will win the division. Definitely, I got a feeling will. Definitely got a feel that that is definitely going to shake out. Well, definitely going to pan out. I mean, definitely. All right, good people. I got to step away for a moment, but I'll be right back with the AFC East. Don't go away. All right, I'm back, good people. News cycle, you said I'm doing fine. Went to the state fair, saw a few concert performances. Okay, cool. I'm sure they had a lot of good food there at the state fair. You also said, I believe the Browns can win the division. They made some of the best offseason moves besides the Dolphins and Cardinals. Definitely. I definitely believe the Browns can win the division. I definitely believe they're going to win the division this year. Knocking on wood. All right, now let's switch it over to the AFC East, and we're going to start with the defending AFC champs, the Buffalo Bills. Now they're coming off of their best season in over 20 plus years. Excuse me. As last year they finished with a 13-3 record. Of course, winning the AFC East. They defeated the Colts in the wild card game, then the Ravens in the divisional, but ultimately they came up short against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. Excuse me. And now they're hoping to finally get over that hump to beat the Chiefs and get to their first Super Bowl in 20 plus years and finally win their first Super Bowl in franchise history. Josh Allen definitely coming off of an MVP caliber year. He finished second in voting behind Aaron Rodgers. He threw for over 4,000 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Also, let me see what was his rushing yards. What were his rushing yards? I can't find those at the moment. But definitely had a nice year rushing as well. Also, Stephon Diggs, who they traded for from the Vikings in the offseason, he definitely had a great year as well. And he fit in pretty good with Allen as he had over 1,000 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. And they definitely trying to upgrade. They also re-signed linebacker Matt Miliano, to a 4-year, $41 million deal. They also re-signed tackle Darrell Williams to a 3-year, $28 million deal. Re-signed guard John Feliciano to a 3-year, $17 million deal. They also added a veteran wide receiver in Emmanuel Sanders, who's a Super Bowl champ. You know, he's played with the Broncos, the 49ers, and just played with the Saints last year. They also signed, Mitchell Trubisky after he was cut by the Bears to a 1-year deal. Also, they acquired Jacob Hollister, the veteran tight end from the Seahawks, and signed him to a 1-year contract. They traded for tight end Lee Smith from the Falcons. So the Bills are definitely trying to put themselves in prime position to get redemption for what happened to them in the AFC Championship game last year against the Chiefs. Also, I forgot they acquired the veteran running back Matt Breida and signed him to a one-year deal, as well as cornerback Levi Wallace. But like I said, they are definitely trying to put themselves in prime position to get over the hump, to knock off the Chiefs and finally get to the Super Bowl and win it. And the Bills are definitely going to be a very strong team this year of course, in the AFC. Oh, excuse me. But Josh Allen, I think he's definitely going to continue to ascend. You know, he had a great year last year. And I definitely don't see him slowing down now. Stephon Diggs is going to keep doing his thing. Also, they've got a pretty good defense that's anchored by, that's anchored by Miliano. I definitely think Miliano does not get his just due, which he should. Also, you got dudes like defensive end Mario Addison, Tremaine Edmonds, the middle linebacker. Also, the corner, Tre'Davious White, who I definitely thinks he doesn't get his just due either. So the Bills, they definitely got a nice defense, and also they've definitely done a real good job of improving their offense. Now, let's move on next to the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins definitely surprised a lot of people last year as they tremendously improved. Definitely got to give a shout out to the head coach, Brian Flores. He's definitely done a great job of turning around that team. They finished 10-6 last year, but unfortunately, it came up short of making the postseason. Now, they definitely had. Now, in my opinion, Flores definitely didn't trust Tua last year because late in games he would not let him finish. He would, go to Ryan Fitzpatrick. Some was calling him Ryan Fitzmagic as he pulled off a lot of magical come from behind wins for the Dolphins, but ultimately he left in free agency and he signed with the Washington football team, which you can't be too mad at him for that because, hey, Alex Smith unfortunately had to retire due to the injuries catching up with him. Won comeback player of the year. So, hey, Fitzpatrick, saw his opportunity to be a starter instead of being a backup. So now it's definitely going to be all on Tua to really deliver for the Dolphins to try to get them over the hump and make the postseason. And they definitely had a nice offseason by signing the veteran wide receiver Will Fuller to a one-year contract. Also, Adam Butler, the defensive lineman, to a 2-year, $9 million deal. They also improved their secondary by signing Justin Coleman to a one-year deal. They also signed Jacoby Brissett, the veteran quarterback, to a one-year deal. They traded for Shaq Lawson to Houston from Houston for Bernard McKinney. Make sure I said his name right. And also traded a 7th rounder to Tennessee for tackle Isaiah Wilson. So the Dolphins are definitely serious about making move, definitely trying to ascend and make it to the playoffs because they definitely felt they should have been there last year. The final game of the season, Ryan Fitzpatrick ended up contracting COVID and had to miss the final game of the season against the Bills. and definitely the Dolphins missed their opportunity to maybe go to the playoffs. But I still think they wouldn't have made the playoffs anyway because Buffalo still had something to play for, which was that number 2 seed. But this Dolphins team is definitely very talented. So now it's all up to Tua to definitely lead this Dolphins offense. They definitely got a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball with veteran defensive end Emmanuel Ogbah. Also, the other defensive end, Christian Wilkins, as well as linebacker. Well, Bernardry McKinney, I definitely think he's going to fit in well with what Flores is trying to do. Of course, well, we don't know about the cornerback Xavier Howard, who's definitely one of the best in the NFL. As rumors have been going around, he's trying to get out of Miami because he wants a bigger deal and he doesn't think the Dolphins are going to pay him. But also, you got the veteran free safety Jason McCourty, who played with Flores in New England. So this is this Dolphins defense shapes up pretty nicely. But like I said, it's all going to come down to the offense. Can Tua mature and become that leader and become a winner? Or will they have to turn to Brissett to be, for him to lead that team into the playoffs? And if that happens, I definitely think Tua's time in Miami is going to be cut short. He's going to get the Mitch Trubisky treatment, unfortunately, if he can't turn the corner this season. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. All right, we're going to head up the road to Flores' old team, the New England Patriots. Now, the Patriots are coming off of their first losing season last year in the Bill Belichick era, as they only went 7-9, but the Patriots definitely had a lot of injuries. Excuse me. They acquired Cam Newton after Tom Brady left and took his talents to Tampa Bay. They brought him back for another year on a $5 million deal, excuse me. But also they definitely upgraded. They signed the veteran tight end Jonnu Smith from the Titans on a 4-year, $50 million deal. Also, they acquired the veteran defensive back Jalen Mills for 4 years and $24 million, as well as the edge rusher. Well, they re-signed Dietrich Wise for 4 years, $30 million. They acquired the veteran wide receivers in Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne. Aguilar signed for 2 years, $26 million, while Bourne signed for 3 years, $22 million. Also, they snagged veteran edge rusher Matt Judon from the Ravens, as they signed him to 4 years, $56 million. They also got the veteran tight end Hunter Henry, as he signed for 3 years, $37 million. They signed Kyle Van Noy, who was with the Patriots previously, won a couple of Super Bowls with them. He signed for 2 years, $13 million. Also, they signed veteran linebacker Raquan McMillan to a 1-year deal. So this is the most money Bill Belichick has ever spent in his entire time with the Patriots. It really goes to show you how serious he really is about contending for another Super Bowl. Like I said, they have never spent money like this. He definitely took, that losing season last year very personally. Now, I definitely like the moves the Patriots have made. I definitely think this is a team to look out for in the AFC. I definitely think they're going to be a sneaky team. They're going to be a sneaky team. very sneaky team this year. I mean, they definitely upgraded their defense, acquiring guys like, excuse me, like Judon, who definitely has been slept on as a edge rusher. Of course, they brought back Van Noy, who was definitely a part of the last couple of Patriots Super Bowl titles. They brought in Jalen Mills, who was the cornerback from the Eagles, who also beat Belichick's Patriots in the Super Bowl a few years ago. Who I definitely feel is underrated as a corner. Also, they definitely got some help for Cam offensively by bringing in 2 veteran wide receivers. Nelson Aguilar, he's solid, but he's not going to wow you. Now, Kendrick Bourne was pretty good in San Fran. He had a pretty good year in San Fran for a couple of years ago when they went to the Super Bowl. So I definitely like that pickup for them. Also, Hunter Henry, he's a solid veteran tight end. He was definitely solid with the Chargers for years under Phillip Rivers. So definitely can't wait to see how he does with Cam. So, man, you got to look out for this Patriots team. They're going to be very sneaky. And if Cam can put it all together and have a pretty good year, similar to, he may not get back there, but if it can be similar to his MVP year, the Patriots are definitely going to be a dangerous team this season. All right, so last but not least, let's keep on moving up down the East Coast and talk about the Jets, Jets. Now, the Jets, they're definitely coming off of another losing season. As they wound up finishing with a 2-14 record. They almost went undefeated, but they got wins against a couple of playoff teams, such as my Browns as well as the Rams. But they're definitely hoping to turn it around. As they, they fired Adam Gates, which they should have done a long time ago in the offseason, but they ended up replacing him with Robert Saleh, excuse me. I mispronounced his name. Who was the defensive coordinator for the 49ers the last few years. Definitely did a tremendous job with that defense as they became a very dominant defense a couple of years ago as they ended up making that Super Bowl run. It was a matter of time before he got a head coaching job. Also, at one point, some people thought he would have gotten the Browns coaching job. But that didn't happen. But the Jets are definitely trying to find a way trying to make moves to at least be competitive in the AFC East. They signed linebacker Gerard Davis to a 1-year, $7 million deal. They signed wide receiver Corey Davis to a 3-year, $57 million deal. They also signed defensive end Carl Lawson to a 3-year, $45 million deal. They also acquired safety LaMarcus Joyner on a 1-year, $4 million deal. as well as tight end Tyler Croyd on a 1-year deal. Also, they signed veteran wide receiver Keenan Cole to a 1-year, $5.5 million deal. They also acquired veteran Tevin Coleman on a 1-year, $2 million deal. Tevin Coleman, he's reuniting with Salah in New York. In New York. And also they they signed veteran edge rusher Vinny Curry to a 1-year, $1.3 million deal. Also, the Jets drafted quarterback Zach Wilson with the number 2 pick this year in the first round. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he does his rookie year. Definitely curious to see that. After they traded away Sam Darnold to the Panthers, who was their pick a few years ago. So definitely anxious to see how Zach Wilson does in his first year. Will he be able to stand up to the pressure, or will he fold? But definitely don't expect too much from the Jets. It's going to be another losing season, but I definitely think Saylor can definitely improve this team with his leadership. You know, a lot of people said, well, especially his defensive players in San Fran said he was very hard-nosed, tough. He wasn't going to take any BS. So maybe this is the type of coach the Jets need to help them help turn this team around. But I definitely don't expect a lot from the Jets. I say they're about 4 or 5 win team at the most. So here's how this is going to shape up. So this is how the AFC East is going to shape up. The Bills, they're going to win the division again. I definitely think the Dolphins are going to break through and make the playoffs this season. Patriots, they're definitely going to be a dangerous team that you're going to have to watch out for, especially if they can just put it all together on both sides of the ball. They definitely have shaped up their defense, like the defensive moves they made. But if they can definitely find a way to get it all together offensively, they're definitely a dangerous team. And last is going to be the Jets. I think the Jets are going to have another losing season. So that's my breakdown of the AFC East. 2 down, 2 more to go. And I'll be back with my breakdown of the AFC West. So don't go away. All right, I'm back, good people. What's up, Bill? How you doing? It's been a minute, man. Definitely. How you been? Thanks for joining me. All right, now about to get into the AFC West. And what better way to start than talking about the defending AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs? Now, last year they made it all the way to the Super Bowl and ultimately got shellacked by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as the defense definitely just pretty much threw around and bullied that Debo that offensive line all night long. And Tampa Bay convincingly took the Lombardi trophy right in their house. But the Chiefs the Chiefs front office decided that couldn't happen again. So they cut veteran linemen Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher, who were definitely a big part of their Super Bowl title the year before. Also, they cut running back Damian Williams, who actually had a nice playoffs last year. I don't know why they cut him, but they did. They added veteran guard Joe Thuney, Kyle Long, another veteran Kyle Long. Also, they acquired veteran wide receiver Demarcus Robinson, as well as Jerron Reed, veteran center Ernest Blythe. They also acquired defensive end Taco Charlton. You better make sure I'm saying his name right. Also, fullback Michael Burton. And also, they acquired All-Pro offensive tackle Orlando Brown from the Ravens. So the Chiefs have definitely done a great job of revamping their offensive line to protect Pat Mahomes, to make sure he does not go through that same embarrassment again like he did in the Super Bowl. That man was literally running for his life every time. As soon as they hiked the ball to him, that man was just running for his life, because the Buccaneers front seven was all over Mahomes like white on rice. Bruce, you said QC, I feel the KC Chiefs gonna lose week 1. You said Browns gonna shock the world and beat KC week 1. Knock on wood for that. Ain't gonna be easy though. But the Chiefs definitely have done a great job of revamping their offensive line. Of course, they got that high power offense, that's led by Mahomes. Also, there's Tyreek Hill, who definitely gets forgotten about as a wide receiver sometimes. One of the best tight ends in the NFL, and Travis Kelce. But definitely want to see how the Chiefs, apply the running game, as they have. Well, they really don't have a running game right now, as they cut Damian Williams, who had a great playoffs last year. Also, they cut veteran linebacker Le'Veon Bell, who they picked up in midseason last year. So definitely curious to see how the Chiefs are going to excel in the running game when they really don't have a go-to running back. That'll be interesting to see. Maybe they'll pick up somebody from the practice squad. Well, no, wait a minute. They got Edwards-Helaire. Definitely want to see how he's going to do in his second year. I think they're going to try to make him the starting running back. And he was off to a nice start last year, but they went away from him. So maybe they let Williams and Bell go to finally give him his shine. Bruce, you also said, I feel it's my number one prediction. Yeah, I definitely want to know where's Miss Shalana. Maybe she may have to work, or maybe she may have something to do, or she just wanted to relax, which I can understand. Definitely can't blame her for that. But shout out to Miss Shalana. Hope she definitely is on here tomorrow night for part 2 of the NFL preview, NFC edition. But also the Chiefs, they have a pretty solid defense with veterans like the defensive end Chris Jones, as well as Frank Clark complimenting him. Definitely Tyrann Mathieu, one of the best safeties in the NFL. So the Chiefs definitely have a pretty solid defense. Also, the veteran linebacker Anthony Hitchens. Now, they may not wow you all the time, but they definitely can make big plays when need to. So definitely can't sleep on this KC defense. And of course, the Chiefs are definitely going to be contenders again. You know, right now they're the team to beat in the AFC. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens and see if anyone can knock them off. All right, now up next we got the Las Vegas Raiders. They're coming off of an 8-8 season. They had started off pretty strong, but they definitely faltered down the stretch and ended up missing the playoffs. And they definitely made some upgrades to their team to make sure that doesn't happen again. You know, they let go of veteran guard Richie Incognito, which they should have anyway, because he's a dang on racist. Also, they let go of veteran safety LaMarcus Joyner. They traded veteran tackle Trent Brown to the Patriots for a 5th rounder. They signed veteran edge rusher Yannick Ngakoue, to a 2-year, $26 million deal. They also signed veteran wide receiver John Brown to a 1-year deal. They re-signed linebacker Nicholas Morrow for 1 year and $5 million. They signed veteran running back Kenyon Drake to a 2-year, $14 million deal. Also signed center Nick Martin. They signed defensive tackle Matt Dickerson to a 1-year, $1.25 million deal. Also, they re-signed wide receiver Zay Jones, as well as offensive lineman, Denzel Good to a 2-year, $8 million deal. So the Raiders, they made some moves, but it seemed like they made some cost-effective, some team-friendly moves. They signed guys on a lot of prove-it deals. Basically saying, hey, we're going to give you this much. If you prove that you can have a great year, maybe we might sign you to a longer contract next offseason. Now, I definitely like the Ngakoue pickup because I definitely feel he's been slept on. He's definitely one of the most slept on edge rushers in the NFL. In my opinion, he doesn't get his just due. But, you know, all that being said, they still haven't done enough to really get up there to be a threat to the Chiefs or really to be a playoff team. Now, Derek Carr is coming off of a nice year. You know, he threw, pretty nice year. He threw for 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 9 picks. But the question is, who can he have? Who's his go-to guy to throw it to? Can Brown be that go-to guy? You know, he's on his third team in the last few years. He was with the Ravens. He was with the Bills last year. Now he's with the Raiders. Now, I also like the Kenyon Drake signing. I definitely think he's going to pay dividends for the Raiders. You know, he's a nice compliment to Josh Jacobs, who's a pretty good running back in his own right. But I still don't see how, that the moves they made is enough to challenge the Chiefs or, to even make the playoffs. But we'll definitely see what unfolds. Anything can happen. But I definitely don't think right now they're a threat to the Chiefs. All right, so gonna travel on down to LA and talk about the LA Chargers. Now, as we all know, Justin Herbert had a sensational rookie year. He broke the rookie touchdown record that was set by quarterbacks Russell Wilson, Peyton Manning, and Baker Mayfield. Allen, he threw for over 4,000 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 10 picks. The Chargers, they're coming off of a 7-9 record. Where for the most part, last season, they were definitely competitive. They were very much competitive. They were in a lot of their games, but they couldn't make the big plays to either win or sustain leads. But they were definitely in a lot of their games. I mean, they gave they gave two teams that were in a Super Bowl a hell of a run for their money. You know, they took the Chiefs to overtime. They definitely gave Tom Brady and the Bucks a run for their money. They were in a lot of their games. If they would have made some of the big plays, some of the key plays, 9 times out of 10, their record would have been better, and probably they would have been a playoff team. Looking at a lot of their finals from last year, the only game they were blown out in was against the Patriots, and the Patriots shut them out 45-0. So the Chargers definitely were in a lot of their games last year. They were very competitive. They had, they put themselves in great position to win, but they ended up coming up short. Now, also, they made a coaching change in the offseason. They fired head coach Anthony Lynn. and replaced him with Rams defensive coordinator Brandon Staley, who had been on Sean McVay's staff for the past few years. Yep, couple of years, excuse me. He was the defensive coordinator for the Rams. And now he finally gets his chance to be an NFL head coach with the Rams. So it's going to be interesting to see how Brad Staley does. Now the Chargers, they made some solid moves. They signed center Corey Lindsey to a 5-year, $62 million deal. They re-signed veteran corner Michael Davis to a 3-year deal. They also signed veteran tight end Jared Cook to a 1-year deal. Offensive lineman Odell Beckham, or Abushi, I hope I'm saying his name right, to a 1-year, $2 million deal. If I mispronounced his name, I apologize. Also, they acquired defensive tackle Christian Covington, as well as edge rusher Kyler Fackrell. Hope I'm saying his name right. If I mispronounce his name, I apologize. And they also acquired guard Matt Feller. Now the Chargers, they have a great chance to definitely improve from last year, from that 7-9 record, and fight for one of the wild cards in the AFC. If they could just put it all together, if Brad Staley can find a way to rally this team and have them buy into what he wants them to do, especially on the defensive end, because we all know defense is his background with his time with the Rams. If he can get, and also Justin Herbert is definitely going to improve this year, especially coming off of the year he had. But if Brandon Staley can get them to buy into his system and what he wants them to do, then the Chargers definitely can be a dangerous team. They can definitely be a dangerous team and definitely fight for one of those wild cards this season. So that's another team I wouldn't sleep on, is them. Definitely wouldn't sleep on these Chargers. All right, so last but not least, we're going to go to the Denver Broncos. The Broncos, they're coming off of a I got the record right. Broncos, they're coming off of a 5-11 record. They're bringing back head coach Vic Fangio, excuse me. I almost mispronounced his name. They're bringing him back for his third season as the head coach. And I'm sure there are Broncos fans out there that definitely feel he needs to be fired. Bruce, you said, QC, what's your opinion about Ben? I feel he's never gonna be the same again. Yeah, I definitely. Big Ben's definitely going downhill. Definitely going downhill. Now, the Broncos have definitely made some interesting moves here to definitely shore up their defense. They acquired veteran help, such as Jeremiah Atachu from the Bears. Also, cornerback Devontae Bugsby from the Raiders. Also, veteran corner Kyle Fuller. They signed him to a one-year deal. They also acquired Shelby Harris, the veteran D lineman, for 3 years, $27 million. Corner, as well as cornerback Ronald Darby on a 3-year, $30 million deal, as they acquired him as he signed as a free agent from the Washington football team. They also placed the franchise tag on All-Pro safety Justin Simmons, who definitely who's a very underrated safety in my opinion. Definitely feels he needs to get more shine than what he does. Also, they picked up the option on veteran future Hall of Famer linebacker Von Miller. They signed safety Kareem Jackson. Well, they picked up the option on Kareem Jackson. No, excuse me, they re-signed Kareem Jackson, the veteran safety. To a one-year deal. So definitely the Broncos defense is on point. But the question is, what about their offense? How are they going to do it offensively? Okay, they signed Teddy Bridgewater to a one-year deal. Also, Drew Lock is the incumbent starting QB. Definitely want to see how he does in his second year. Third year, my mistake. To see if he could finally take that step and be the leader on this team. They also acquired running back Melvin Gordon. No, excuse me. My mistake. Melvin Gordon's coming back for his second year. So they definitely need to establish their running game. Gordon could probably help out with that. Also, Royce Freeman can help out as well. Now, the wide receivers, Jared Judy. Hope I said his name right. He had a pretty solid rookie year. He's definitely got to pick it up. My mistake. As he only had 856 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns last year. They definitely going to have to go to him more. Also, you bringing back the veteran Cortland Sutton. who definitely had who's definitely looking for a bounce back year after a torn ACL last year. But he was definitely starting to rise up and put up some pretty good numbers in his other 2 seasons. So definitely think he's the one. He wants to have a bounce back season. But in order for the Broncos to be competitive and win games, it's all going to have to come down to the defense. I've always liked their defense. I've been a fan of Von Miller. I also like Justin Simmons. So it's really going to have to come down to the defense because this offense here is little left to be desired. So the offense is definitely going to have their struggles this season. But I do like the tight end Noah Fane, excuse me. I definitely think he has potential, but Elway's definitely gonna have to address this offense. The offense in the offseason. Otherwise, the Broncos are gonna keep on keep on going backwards. So definitely think it may be a long season for the Broncos as the defense is not going to be enough to carry them. So here's how I see the AFC West stacking up. Definitely think the Chiefs are going to win the division. Again, they are heavy favorites. Second, I think the Chargers are going to move up, going to improve. I think Herbert's definitely going to improve in his second year. And if the Chargers can put it all together and Staley can really rally this team and have them buy in to his system, look out for the Chargers. I think they could definitely be a dangerous team this year if they put it all together. Next is going to be the Raiders. I can see the Raiders either, finishing 500 once again or a little below 500 because they definitely haven't addressed, made enough moves to address their defense to start, going after, the top two quarterbacks right now in their own division in Mahomes and Herbert. And last but not least, the Broncos. I definitely like their defense, but their offense is going to be their Achilles heel all season. So I see the Broncos as a under 500 team. All right, so we got one more division to break down, and that's the AFC South. I'll be right back, so don't go away for that breakdown. All right, I'm back, good people. Sorry about that. Had to take an important call. All right, now here's my final breakdown of the AFC, and that is the AFC South. And I'm going to start with the defending AFC South champs, the Tennessee Titans. Now, they're coming off of an 11-5 year. They won the AFC South, but they ultimately lost to the Baltimore Ravens in the wild card round, as Lamar Jackson and the Ravens came from behind to knock off the Titans. Of course, we all know they have that man in Derrick Henry, who's had consecutive 2,000-yard rushing seasons. He's definitely one of the best, if not the best, running back in the NFL. Also, pretty nice quarterback in Ryan Tannehill, who's coming off of a pretty nice season as well. Tannehill threw for over 3,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 7 picks. But they definitely made moves to shore up their defense to make sure that they can make another run at it after they had went to the AFC Championship game a season earlier. They cut a lot of their veteran defenders such as Malcolm Butler, Kenny Vaccaro, as well as Chris Milton, Adoree Jackson. They also cut veteran wide receiver Adam Humphries. They traded Isaiah Wilson to the Dolphins for a 7th-round pick in this year's draft. They definitely bolstered their defense by adding veteran edge rusher and defensive end Bud Dupree. They gave him a lucrative 5-year, $82 million contract as they snagged him away from the Steelers. They also signed veteran corner John Rhys Jenkins. They also re-signed linebacker Javon Brown to a 1-year deal. They re-signed Kevin Johnson, the cornerback, to a 1-year contract. They added wide receiver Josh Reynolds as they signed him on a 1-year contract. They also signed Danico Autry, to a 3-year, $21 million deal. So the Titans definitely did a pretty good job of addressing the weaknesses on their defense. This is definitely another sneaky good team. If they can get high at the right time, maybe they can do what they did similarly a couple of years ago and get to the AFC Championship game once again. Also, they have a solid, pretty nice receiver in A.J. Brown. And almost forgot, they acquired Julio Jones, the all-pro veteran star wide receiver from the Falcons this offseason. Man, he's definitely going to give the AFC South a bunch of problems. All those secondaries that the Titans face this season are definitely going to have problems and nightmares trying to stop that dude, because I definitely think he has something to prove. So Tannehill definitely has another weapon in the passing game in Julio. He and Brown could definitely make a nice wide receiver duo. But besides the acquisitions they made on defense, they still have a nice squad, such as the defensive end Jeffrey Simmons, also Rashad Evans, the middle linebacker, as well as Kevin Bayard. Hope I said his name right. If I didn't, I apologize. The free safety. But this Titans team is definitely trying to show people that they're ready to contend. They definitely want to take that next step. Hopefully that they can dethrone the Chiefs and ultimately get to the Super Bowl and win it. So this Titans team's definitely a real good team. They definitely can make some noise in the playoffs and possibly can win their division again, because to me, this is not the strongest division in the AFC. So, if the Titans can get hot and stay healthy, they can definitely make some noise again like they did a couple of years ago when they made that run to the AFC Championship game. All right, now going to switch it to the Indianapolis Colts. They're coming off of a pretty good year. They also finished 11-5, but man, they lost in the playoffs in heartbreaking fashion to Josh Allen and the Bills. Phillip Rivers was leading a drive down the field in the final seconds. He tried his best to throw up a Hail Mary, but ultimately came up short. That was a great game too. That was a great game. But the Bills escaped with the victory and ended up moving on. Now, Phillip Rivers, he retired this offseason, so they traded for quarterback Carson Wentz from the Eagles. As all you may not know, he was with Frank Reich. Well, Frank Reich was his offensive coordinator in Philly when they won the Super Bowl a few years ago. So they're reunited again. But already Carson Wentz is hurt. He's gonna miss some time in the preseason, but they said he'll be back the first game of the regular season against the. Make sure I have the opponent right. That he's going to be back for the first game of the regular season against the Seahawks. Making sure I had it right. They said he'll be back for the first game against the Seahawks. But the success is definitely going to come down to Carson Wentz's health, because ever since he had that MVP caliber season a few years ago where he missed the rest of the season in the playoffs, where Nick Foles took over and won them the Super Bowl, Wentz has just been a straight walking MRI. That dude's almost had every injury known to man in the last few years. So it's definitely going to come down to him staying healthy. If he can't stay healthy, then they're definitely gonna have to rely on the backup Jacob Eason to carry the load. And that could definitely get very tricky there. Now, the Colts, they didn't really do a lot of moves in the offseason. I mean, they re-signed a few of their key players, such as Marlon Mack to a one-year deal, as well as cornerback Xavier Rhodes to a one-year deal. They re-signed T.Y. Hilton to a one-year deal as well. They signed offensive tackle Sam Tevy. They traded for Carson Wentz. They traded a third rounder and a third rounder this year and a second rounder next year to the Eagles that could become a first rounder. They also signed edge rusher, Isaac Rochelle to a one-year deal. But Colts didn't really make no moves this year. Now, once again, it's all going to come down to Carson Wentz. Can he stay healthy? If he can stay healthy, then the Colts definitely have a chance to, be that sneaky team once again that they were last year, and definitely give a team a run for their money. But if Wentz can't stay healthy, it could definitely be a long season for the Colts. Very long season. I mean, the Colts, they definitely got a great defense, a real great defense that I think gets slept on. They got the veteran defensive tackle, DeForest Buckner, the linebacker Darius Leonard, who I'm a huge fan of. I like his game. Also, of course, Xavier Rhodes, the cornerback. So if Wentz goes down, it may be up to the defense to carry them to some wins. But Will the defense be enough to give them enough wins to make the playoffs in a 17-game schedule now? Definitely have to wait and see on that. All right, now for the next team, the Houston Texans. Now, this team's definitely up in limbo, as they definitely have their, issues. As we all know, before, unfortunately, the accusations came out against Deshaun Watson, which I think he's been wrongfully accused. That's just my opinion. Watson was demanding a trade out of Houston due to the fact he didn't like the direction that ownership and the front office were going. I mean, they traded away a lot of key players, great players. They had traded away DeAndre Hopkins. They also let J.J. Watt walk. So Watson didn't want to be on a losing team, and they're still waiting for the investigation to all the allegations to be final. But this Texas team is definitely going to have their struggles this year, and definitely be in the running for a number one pick next year in the next year's NFL draft. Excuse me. Now, they picked up some solid pieces like the running back Mark Ingram. They signed him to a 1-year deal. They also signed veteran linebacker, former Brown Christian Kirksey, to a 1-year deal as well. They also signed veteran center Justin Britt to a 1-year deal. Linebacker Cameron Grugler Hill to a 1-year deal. So same thing. Well, they traded for Marcus Cannon, the veteran tackle. And of course, they traded away Bernardrick McKinney to the Dolphins. So a lot of these free agents are on 1-year deals. They acquired Terrence Mitchell, the former Cleveland Browns corner, signed him for 2 years, $7.5 million. So a lot of these guys are on prove-it deals. They signed the veteran running back Philip Lindsay. So Romeo Crennel definitely has his work cut out for him. No, excuse me, not Romeo Crennel, my mistake. They hired David Culley from the Ravens. But David Culley definitely has his work cut out for him. As he definitely has drama off the field. Well, definitely doesn't know who his starting quarterback is going to be from the for opening day. But also, how's he going to get this team to buy into what he's trying to do and what he wants to accomplish? That's a definite question to answer, and that's a question that will be answered this season. But I definitely think they're going to move on from Deshaun Watson at some point. Maybe not this year. They might just, pay him to sit. But I definitely think they'll move him the next offseason. So this is definitely going to be bad for the Texans. So I don't expect the Texans to win a lot of games this year. I really don't. Now, last but not least, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, as we all know, they selected Clemson's Trevor Lawrence with the number 1 pick in this year's NFL draft. And 9 times out of 10, he's going to be the opening day starter for Urban Meyer, who they hired in the offseason. This is Urban's first time coaching in the NFL, so definitely curious to see how he's going to do. Now, the Jaguars, they made some solid signings. I mean, they signed Shaquille Griffin, the cornerback, to a 3-year, $40 million deal. They also signed veteran wide receiver Marvin Jones to a 2-year, $14 million deal. Also, they signed wide receiver Philip Dorsett from the Patriots. You know, nice veteran wide receiver. Also, they signed defensive tackle Roy Robertson Harris to a 3-year deal. Safety Rudy Ford, as well as veteran running back Carlos Hyde. Also, veteran safety Rashad Jenkins. They signed him to a 4-year, $35 million deal. So the Jaguars, they definitely have a potential to move upward. You know, they, feel that they acquired their franchise QB in Trevor Lawrence. I'm definitely anxious to see what he's going to do in his rookie year. Also, I want to see how Urban Meyer is going to coach up this team. Even though I don't expect the Jaguars to win no more than maybe, I say, no more than 5 or 6 games. I definitely think they've improved a little bit from last year. And if Urban can definitely find a way to start having this team believe in what he wants to run and it will work, then next few years, who knows where the Jaguars may be. But I definitely think that they have a potential for a bright future. Even though I don't see a lot of success coming from them this year, but they're definitely heading upwards in the right direction. But I see no more than 5 or 6 wins from this team. So here's my breakdown for the AFC South. It's gonna Titans. I think they're definitely gonna win the division again. Colts. If Wentz can stay healthy and at least get back to form, they definitely can be a team to beat. Well, a team that you may have to look out for this season because they still have the defense that can definitely make life miserable for a bunch of offenses. So can't sleep on that Colts defense. Third, I have the Jaguars. Definitely starting to like what I see from them. They're going to improve. And they definitely got a potential for a bright future. And last but the Texans. They just have so much dysfunction that I can't see the Texans having too much success this year. So they'll definitely be, compete for that number 1 pick in next year's NFL draft. All right. Now, that's my breakdown of the AFC.
Kimberly.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Good people. My apologies for that.
Wake up.
All right. Earlier, I asked people to vote to see who will win the AFC. Okay, overwhelmingly, 62% said the Chiefs, 38% said the Browns. Wow. 0 for the Bills and the Ravens. That I can't believe. But I definitely want to see, well, you can definitely put your thoughts on who you think will win the AFC in the chat when you watch the replays. Who do you think it would be? But man, unbelievable. We are about a good 3 or 4 weeks away from kickoff of the regular season of the NFL season. Man, time has flown, boy. It just seems like the Super Bowl was just yesterday. But we are getting closer and closer. But definitely, I thank all y'all for tuning in to this live stream. Make sure you come back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock as I'll be doing part 2 of my NFL preview. This time I'm breaking down the NFC. If you still would like to donate to the channel, you can donate via Cash App or PayPal. There's the Cash App cash tag, $ Talkin and Grubbin. Also, there's the PayPal email address, talkinandgrubbin@gmail.com. Any donations you give to the platform, I greatly appreciate it. And I'm very grateful to all those past and present who have donated to the platform. I greatly appreciate your donations and support. Y'all definitely help me keep this platform going and growing. And there's some more things I want to do. And your donations would definitely help towards that tremendously. Also, you can still become members. Just click that join button right now for a monthly contribution. You'll get access to exclusive content that won't be seen on YouTube. Also, you can get a sneak peek, sneak peek at new videos that I post before they go public, as well as some other great perks. So definitely go on to the members section and check it out and click that join button, become a member. Definitely become a member, because I'm definitely going to be creating some real good content for the members. And also for the members, I'm definitely going to live stream a game next month. So if you want to definitely be a part of that live stream, go ahead and become a member right now. You won't be disappointed. But anyways, y'all, I got to get out of here. Thank y'all for joining me once again. This has been fun doing this, free for all, breaking down the AFC for this year. Make sure you join me tomorrow night at 8 o'clock as I'll break down the NFC. Can't wait to get into that. Will the Bucks, will they repeat? Will they, repeat as NFC champs? Will Aaron Rodgers be in Green Bay long enough to challenge? Who's gonna, survive? Who's gonna, be the survivor of the NFC East? And a lot more tomorrow night. So make sure you come back. So make sure you join me for that. You don't want to miss it. I definitely appreciate all y'all tuning in. Thank you for all your viewership and support. Greatly appreciate it. I just feel I'm just so blessed and honored for all of you. And I thank God that all of y'all just want to tune in to watch me run my mouth about sports, watch me eat as always, and conversate with me in the chat or in the comic section. You know, if it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't be doing this. So I just greatly appreciate all y'all, and I thank you for all your love, support, and viewership. Well, it's been fun, but I gotta run. I can't wait to do this again until tomorrow night, same time, 8 o'clock. Come back for part 2 of my NFL preview as I break down the NFC. So until then, y'all have a good one. Love y'all to life. Salute. Y'all be safe and enjoy your day and enjoy your night.